Here the lights go green and I managed to overtake Kart 11. Then shortly after I managed to overtake this guy. Then shortly after I managed to overtake Kart 8. And the session gets yellow flagged. Sorry for the bad camera angle. The camera angle will get better on the next session, trust me. This video is probably one of the most chaotic videos I've probably ever recorded, so if I was you, I'd probably watch the whole thing. You will not be disappointed. Here the lights go green and I managed to get an easy overtake on Kart 25. And shortly after I get overtake on Kart 11, but he keeps the inside, but I pull a switchback on him, which gets me to overtake. Here I overtake Kart 18 on the inside, and there's a guy that messed up the turn and hit the barrier. Hopefully it didn't hurt him though. Here I was about to get overtake, but the session gets yellow flagged, which I'm guessing was from that one person. Here the lights go green, and this guy doesn't know how to turn, and he hits the barrier next to the ramp, so I managed to overtake him on the inside. It looked like it hurt, but hopefully he's fine. Here the lights go green and I get side by side with Kart 15 and managed to overtake him on the inside. And shortly after I managed to catch up to this guy and overtake him on the outside. Here the lights go green and I managed to overtake Kart 8 on the outside and managed to overtake the guy in the blue suit on the inside because I'm just faster than him. Here I catch up to this pack and we all managed to overtake the guy in the red suit. Here I catch up to Kart 25 and he doesn't leave me space, so I have to slow down, but I managed to pull a switchback on him because he goes wide for some reason. And shortly after, the session gets yellow flagged and I see a guy who crashed, so I just give him a thumbs up to see if he's okay, but I don't think he saw me. Here the lights go green and me and Kart 14 managed to overtake the guy in the orange suit, which is probably not the best driver on track. Here I was about to overtake the guy in the red suit, but the session gets yellow flagged, so I don't manage to overtake him. And here's the reason the session gets yellow flagged. Here the lights go green. I almost managed to overtake the guy in a blue suit and he closes a gap on me, but I managed to overtake another guy in a blue suit. I don't know why I was mad here, but I was mad for some reason. Here I managed to overtake the guy in the blue suit and the guy in the red suit, which I guess they're a lot slower than me, or they just went wide. Here I spun out, but no one manages to hit me, but in the next session, I'm not that lucky. Here I try to overtake the guy in the blue suit, but I don't have enough space, so the guy in the red suit manages to overtake me. Here I catch up to Kart 8 and I'm kind of side by side with him, but he closes a gap on me and I kind of hit him and he spins out, but I don't manage to overtake him because like he's in front of me, but I think I try to apologize, but I don't think he saw me. But shortly after I managed to overtake him on the outside and close the gap on him, so I get the overtake done easily. And shortly after I managed to overtake Kart 15 on the inside, but I was going a little bit too fast and I spun out, but no one manages to hit me and I managed to lose 3 positions by doing so. But here I managed to catch up to Kart 14 and get side by side with him, but I slow down and he gets the inside, but he goes wide, so I managed to pull a switchback on him. But then I managed to catch up to Kart 8 and get really close to him, so now I have to battle my position, but then I get the inside on him and manage to overtake him. So that's 2 positions back, but then I managed to catch up to Kart 15 and we both get to the street, so I managed to overtake him on the outside somehow. Here I catch up to Kart 25 and manage to overtake him on the inside. And shortly after I managed to catch up to this guy which has parked on the apex and I managed to not hit him. Here the lights go green and I managed to overtake this guy in the red suit on the outside. And that's the end of session 1, but let's get to the next session. Here the lights go green and I managed to catch up to this pack and I managed to overtake Kart 11 pretty easily, but then I catch up to Kart 15 and managed to overtake him on the outside. And then I catch up to Kart 22 and shortly after I managed to overtake him on the outside quite easily, and a bit after that I managed to catch up to Kart 8 and overtake him on the ramp, but then the session gets yellow flagged, which means I have to slow down. And here the lights go green and I catch up to Kart 18 and slightly hit him on the ramp, but I don't manage to overtake him, but I was chasing him and we both catch up to this apex and I brake a little bit earlier and I managed to pull a switchback on him. And shortly after I managed to catch up to the guy in the blue suit and I barged through the gap and managed to overtake him. Here the lights go green and I managed to catch up to Kart 22 and he's slowing me down, so I try to find an overtake and I managed to overtake him on the outside. And while I was trying to keep my position, I was going a little bit too fast and I braked a little bit too hard and spun out, but luckily no one hit me this time. Here I managed to catch up to this guy in a red suit and he somehow spins out and I managed to not hit him. Shortly after, I managed to catch up to kart 15 and I tried to pull a switchback, but that doesn't work, so I chase him for a bit and I find the gap, but kart 15 closes it off and I don't manage to overtake him. But shortly after, he goes for the inside and I think he was letting me through, but he wasn't, and I hit the barrier and don't manage to overtake him this time. But half a lap later, he goes wide and I managed to overtake him on the inside. And shortly after, I managed to catch up to kart 19 and managed to overtake him on the inside because he goes wide. But shortly after, the guy in the red suit manages to overtake me on the inside. I guess this is the first time that I got overtaken on this video without spinning out beforehand. Here the guy that managed to overtake me goes wide and I managed to overtake him on the inside. And a lap later, kart 8 basically does the same thing and I managed to get a free overtake on him. As I was trying to keep my position, I was going a little bit too fast and braked too hard and spun out, and someone hit me. I can admit, I actually kinda hurt, but a few laps later, the pain just went away. Hopefully the guy that hit me wasn't that badly hurt. I thought the session was yellow flagged because of the crash I caused, but the yellow flag was because of these guys. I don't know why the guy in the blue suit just didn't keep on driving, because he can probably easily turn and not hit the barrier, but he just stood there for some reason. Luckily I went through them both without needing a marshal. Here the lights go green and I'm just driving and this guy just comes out of nowhere and hits me and causes a crash. Maybe the guy that crashed into me just wanted some revenge for some reason, but luckily I wasn't stuck in the barrier this time. Here the guy that crashed into me goes wide and the whole group manages to overtake him. And kart 8 manages to overtake kart 20, but when I try it, I just spin into the barrier. And kart 20 does the same thing, and I managed to overtake him. I think the marshal was trying to get me into the pits, but I didn't realize it was for me because I didn't get a black flag, but later in the session I realized. Here I mess up my entry and kart 27 manages to overtake me on the inside. But half a lap later, I'm still chasing kart 27 and a marshal is pointing at me with the black flag, so now I realize I'm actually black flagged. So now I'm near the pits and driving into him, and here's why the marshal black flagged me.
It was just a few laps ago, it was just kind of here, you just kind of spun out, and the other driver was just kind of hit into you. Just to make sure when you go around this corner, just don't use your brake pedal at all. Just kind of use the car to kind of close down, just kind of that's that almost okay. Make sure no brake pedal, the pedal's right. Cool. There you go, just straight down.
So do you guys think that's a valid excuse to get me black flagged? So what do you guys think? Please write your opinion in the comments below. It will help a lot. So here I catch up to kart 19 and manage to overtake him on the inside. And shortly after I get side by side with kart 18 and I managed to overtake him on the inside quite easily. And here I managed to catch up to both of these guys and I managed to overtake the guy in the red suit on the inside. And shortly after I managed to overtake the guy in the orange suit quite easily on the inside as well. And after that I managed to catch up to this pack and I'm just chasing these guys. And kart 22 tries to overtake the guy in the orange suit and that causes a crash. And the guy in the orange suit just stops. Luckily I don't hit him though. And for some reason just kart 15 just overtakes both of us. But lets kart 8 through. Honestly don't know why he did that. But now I need to try to overtake him on the green flag when the session gets green flagged again. But shortly after the session gets green flagged, I managed to overtake kart 8 on the outside. But shortly after I managed to overtake kart 15 again. So that means I just got my positions back. And luckily I didn't spin out on the long straight again. And half a lap later I managed to catch up to kart 22. And I managed to overtake him for a second, but he had the inside. But shortly after, kart 5 manages to overtake me. But he gets side by side with kart 22 and manages to overtake him on the inside. Which is probably a good move, he got 2 overtakes. And a bit after that, this guy tries to overtake me, but I keep my position, but kart 22 slows me down, and he managed to get side by side with me, and overtake kart 22 and me on the outside, which was a good move. But shortly after the session gets yellow flagged, and I realized that was the end of the session. Sorry about the first session's camera angle being bad, my camera just fell a bit, but luckily the second session got a lot better. So if you enjoyed that video, please like, and if you have any opinions you want to tell me, please comment.